Welcome back to this explainer. Today, we're diving right into the Flow Mental Performance and Skills System, or MPSS for short. We're going to decode those invisible factors that drive high-pressure athletic performance. Look, if you've ever wondered why a perfectly trained athlete suddenly falls apart when the score is tied at 22 all, well, you're definitely in the right place.
We've all seen it. A player with absolutely perfect mechanics just completely unravels under pressure. And this brilliant quote from our source material hits the nail on the head. It shows exactly why this happens. They aren't failing their mechanics, and it's definitely not a lack of willpower. Their internal nervous system is just overloaded. It's literally a biological system operating at maximum capacity and crashing.
So here's our roadmap for today. 1. Playing the hidden game. 2. The neuropsychology of volleyball. 3. 6 core regulation skills. 4. Deployment in practice and play. 5. The complete MPSS toolkit. And finally, 6. Digital resources and beyond. Let's get right into it. Starting with Section 1, Playing the hidden game. What actually breaks down under pressure?
So let's look at this hidden game. It's basically the biological system operating right underneath the visible techniques of passing, setting, and hitting. If you take a rally and slow it down to 1/20th speed, and I mean neurologically, not mechanically, you'll see the brain's threat circuitry flicker into absolute overdrive before the athlete even realizes what went wrong. The amygdala fires off, making a split-second threat judgment. The heart rate jumps, breathing gets shallow, and vision physically narrows to just a few degrees. And the crazy part? All of this happens before a single physical mistake is actually made.
Moving to Section 2, the neuropsychology of volleyball. The human system that plays the game.
Now that internal cascade we just talked about, it's not a weakness, and it is definitely not a character flaw. It's deeply rooted in our biology and evolutionary design. Every single athlete relies on these 5 neurocognitive capacities to play: emotion, cognition, attention, interoception, which is just sensing your body's internal signals, and behavior. Notice how emotion naturally fires first. Evolutionarily, emotion is there to protect the athlete. But in a super uncertain environment like a volleyball match, that emotional system can sometimes get confused and turn a normal moment of uncertainty into pure panic. So the real key here is understanding the difference between a regulated and a dysregulated athlete. A regulated athlete manages to keep their physiological system online. Their attention stays broad enough to read the court, and they bounce back from mistakes quickly because nothing inside them is actively working against what they're trying to do. A dysregulated athlete, though, they spend the entire match basically trying to outrun their own physiology. Their internal system is literally misinterpreting the gym as a dangerous threat. Which brings us to Section 3, 6 core regulation skills, the MPSS solution. To help those dysregulated athletes, the MPSS system was developed. And I want to be super clear, this isn't just a bunch of motivational tricks or catchy slogans. It's a highly coherent regulation cycle designed to bring the athlete's system back online. If we look at the MPSS system map, you'll see it's a continuous loop. It's not a ladder, and it's not a simple checklist. Each ring reveals a different layer of what's happening under pressure, and every single skill directly addresses a very specific breakdown point in the athlete's performance system. Here are those 6 skills, and they deploy in a specific sequence to interrupt emotional surges and bring back clarity. First is stop, to physically interrupt the surge. Then comes a mindfulness reset to yank attention back to the present moment. Radical acceptance follows, which releases resistance to reality so the next point can start clean. Then optimism reframing shifts their perception toward growth. Rumination recovery steps in to break those looping, self-defeating thoughts. And lastly, connection over correction stabilizes the emotional system of the entire team. They all work in that exact order to get the athlete truly back in the game. And the entire philosophy of this regulation system is beautifully anchored by this one visual concept, the ENSO wave. It's a symbol of completeness, intentional imperfection, and the totally natural, unavoidable rise and fall of athletic performance. I love this because it so powerfully reframes pressure as an actual opportunity. Learning grows right inside the swell. Instead of fighting the natural waves of frustration or adrenaline, athletes learn that mistakes are really just information. That swell of pressure, that's exactly where the growth happens. All right, Section 4, deployment in practice and play, integrating skills into the gym's rhythm. So we know the theory, but how do we actually deploy this on the court without totally overwhelming the players or, stopping practice every 5 minutes? The secret is that MPSS is embedded directly into practice. No lectures. It follows the exact same rhythm as technical coaching. See, cue, repeat. You don't pause for a psychology lesson. Instead, the split second you see a player's shoulders tighten up, you give a small, precise cue for a mindfulness reset. You repeat this over hundreds of reps in practice until that physiological regulation is just completely automatic on game day.
Next up, Section 5, the complete MPSS toolkit, resources for coaches, athletes, and directors.
To build this shared language and culture across a whole program, MPSS provides a completely modular suite of resources. Here's how it breaks down. The coach's manual gives you the deep psychological frameworks and teaching guides. Then, the athlete's manual translates all that science into role-appropriate tools that actually make sense to the players. The pocket guide is your quick, in-game reference for those real-time, high-pressure moments. And the atlas provides a structured progression taking you from a high-level overview all the way down to direct application on the court. Whatever you need in the moment, there's a specific tool built for it.
And finally, Section 6, Digital Resources and Beyond, where to find more tools.
Now, it doesn't just stop with the primary manuals. Inside these books, the appendices are an absolute goldmine. For example, Appendix A dives deep into shifting from rigid mental toughness over to true mental adaptability. Appendix B hands you instant verbal and nonverbal cueing systems. And Appendix E introduces smart stats, giving you these great, small frameworks to keep everyone regulated when the pressure really spikes. Plus, if you want to integrate these exercises seamlessly, the complete suite of MPSS workbooks, physical copies for both you and your athletes, can be easily found and ordered right on Amazon. It really makes rolling this out to a whole team a breeze.
I also highly recommend checking out their official website at flowmpc.com. The site is just packed with additional articles, deep dive dissertations, free downloads, and crucial links to training materials to help you fully integrate the system into your program. To wrap things up, I want to leave you with this really crucial thought from the text. Performance is built on recovery, not perfection. The ultimate goal of the MPSS isn't to train athletes to play a flawless game. It's to build a human system that knows exactly how to recover when things inevitably get tough. So think about this. If perfection is literally impossible, just how efficient is your team's recovery system right now? Thanks for joining me for this explainer. And here's to mastering the hidden game.